Valorant doesn't work on Shadow. Something that's become very apparent from reading the Shadow Reddit page for the last week, but why doesn't it? If you've been following the news on Valorant recently, you will know one of the hotly debated topics is the extreme measures of Riot's anti-cheat system. Due to this system, Riot Games are currently blocking access to Valorant through VMs, or virtual machines, which is essentially what your Shadow is, but it will also include other services like GeForce Now. Not that I think they would get Valorant. So just to clarify, this is not an issue with Shadow, just stricter than normal criteria for a game, and it's not the first time we've seen this. Veteran Shadow users will remember a similar situation we had with Blizzard, where access to World of Warcraft was also blocked from virtual machines, something which was eventually resolved from noise from the community, essentially. Shadow have also stated they have reached out to Riot Games, so hopefully we'll get an update on this one in the coming weeks. But even if this issue does get resolved, I'll leave that decision of whether or not to install the game down to you. This is something that I didn't plan to touch on because it's not my area of expertise, but I just recommend you do a little bit more digging on this anti-cheat system that Riot Games is using for Valorant. There is just some news coming out about this anti-cheat system. The way it installs itself on your system actually has root access to your entire computer at an even higher level of clearance than even you have as a Windows admin user. Not to mention, this anti-cheat system also just seems to start up with Windows. Even if you haven't got Valorant running, it's always there and it has access to everything. So there's that, but then you throw into the mix that Riot Games is owned by Tencent, which is pretty much the Chinese government. Again, I'll leave the decision to install down to you. It's definitely an interesting one, so I'll put the question to you. Are you a Shadow user who's frustrated that you won't be able to play Valorant because of this VM blocking? Or is the news coming out about the anti-cheat system something that's going to put you off playing altogether? So let's round this part of the video off with a few more key Shadow updates. Firstly, if you're an EU user who pre-ordered additional storage, this has successfully been delivered this week.
I eat success for breakfast with skim milk.
So go henceforth and install all of the games. If you've pre-ordered and you're not seeing this additional storage, Shadow has recommended that you do a complete reboot of your Shadow system for this to show up. Just to clarify, that is for users who pre-ordered that additional storage when they pre-ordered their tier. So if you missed out on that, or maybe you're a new user who's thinking, well, f me and my 128 gig install size of Call of Duty Warzone. Fear not. For users of the US and Paris data centers, a storage management tool is currently in development, which would allow you to add and remove storage on the fly from your Shadow account page. So this is in development, no word yet of an official release date, which is probably better because we know the track record with Shadow and release dates. And final update on a feature which was unexpected but popped up on my screen and I thought it was kind of cool. Just an option that showed up on my launcher page that basically said, do you want Shadow to take care of all of your graphics driver updates? And me, of course, being a busy guy, I thought,
that's good. One less thing.
Next to GeForce Now, and obviously when we talked about this service more recently, it's been about publishers removing their games from the service.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
But one of the things I was unaware of, I'll admit on this one, it completely passed me by, that Nvidia is actually actively adding more games to the service and announcing those new games every Thursday. So I'll throw some of the tweets up on screen here, and admittedly not all of them are winners, but there's some notable stuff in there like Saints Row the Third, Last Oasis and Control, which if you do have access to the Founders tier of GeForce Now, also gives you the RTX ray tracing features of Control. Speaking of the GeForce Now Founders tier, great segue, Mark. Thank you, Mark. We'd previously said that the EU data centers had completely run out of the Founders tier, with the US looking like it was heading that way. So just a quick update to state that yes, officially both EU and US data centers are out of the Founders tier. As we mentioned, both being replaced with an option to sign up to be notified when this tier becomes available again. For Nvidia, this will mean adding additional RTX supported hardware to their data centers, something I'm sure they're pushing for as quickly as possible so as not to miss out on any of those new paid subscriptions, but this could potentially be something that does get pushed back due to a certain global situation thing. You know, I miss the outside. Again, I'm interested to get your thoughts on this. Is the addition of new titles every week something that could entice you back into using GeForce Now? Or is it too late and your favorite game was already removed in the great publisher purge of 2020? Next, let's talk about Google Stadia. And with the recent announcement of their free tier becoming available and this 2-month free trial to Stadia Pro, now is the time for Google Stadia to go full throttle and make the service as accessible to users as possible. And this does appear to be something that's happening. In a recent article by 9to5 Google, they did some digging into the most recent APK for the Stadia Android 2.3 update, and they confirmed upcoming support for Android TVs. The article goes on to say after finding that nugget, they tried side-loading the APK onto an Android TV, which did surprisingly work. It did display as a supported Android TV application, but they were unable to progress any further, getting stuck at a getting started screen. An official supported Android TV application would certainly help with the success of the service, making it more accessible and offering a bigger screen to play the games on for users who don't already own a Google Chromecast. You know what else would help the success of the service? A better business model. I gotta take at least one crack at them per news story, okay? That was it. But that about wraps up the cloud gaming news for this week, guys. One thing I wanted to leave you with to help you through this period of self-isolation. Currently, there's a lot of services out there which are being true OGs and just offering free games to help people through this period. So first up, PlayStation announced they are offering Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, which includes the first 3 Uncharted games remastered for PlayStation 4, and Journey, which is probably the only game I've ever played, which I would describe as emotional. It got me real good in here.
You cut me real deep just now.
Then we have the Epic Game Store, which is offering Just Cause 4 and Wheels of Aurelia? I don't know. And finally, if you signed up to Xbox Game Pass for PC, the games being added at the moment are Gears Tactics, The Long Dark, Deliver Us to the Moon, which I played on stream. Amazing game, would recommend it. I'll even leave a link to that stream down below if you wanted to check it out quickly. Levelhead, Gato Roboto, Machinarium, and Hyperdot. But that's it from me. I certainly do hope all of you are staying safe out there. If you enjoyed the video or found it somewhat helpful, a like rating would be appreciated. If you have not already, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. And as always, I shall see you in the next one. Ow.